Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to day 40 of commercial diving school. In this video, I have a couple things to put out for you guys, like today's lesson plan and some stuff about Ocala and also about moving up to being juniors. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed and leave any comments or questions for me down below. So for first things first, I want to talk about Ocala. So in Ocala, is the Deep Water Training Center. That's where we're going to be diving down to 165 feet. I'm not too sure how many times we're going to dive to that depth. I know that we dive to 132 feet as well. There's a few of those dives. I've just heard a couple things about that facility. I know there's a scuba portion that we're going to do down there. Obviously, we can't, around the campus we're on right now, the main campus, there's not too many places we can dive deeper than 60 feet. So they take care of that deeper water training over there in Ocala. So about that is after the freshman class, so the class that's newest to us. So we came to the school and then we went from freshman to sophomore, and then the new freshman class, that's the last class that is going to Ocala. So I don't know how many of you are actually thinking of going to commercial diving school and we're actually considering going to CDA, but that is what I heard, that they are no longer having students go down to Ocala. And at this point, I'm not sure what they're going to do instead, if they're going to do anything at all instead. I don't know if they're going to shorten the school or if they're not going to do any deep water training from now on, or if they're going to have a different location be the deep water training. I'm really not too sure, but I just know that that's what's going to happen. I'm thinking when the new freshmen come in, I'm hoping that they were told, hey, we're no longer sending you guys to the deep water training. So hopefully next week when I see some freshmen, hopefully they have some answers to that. Like, hey, what were you guys told about when you came here? Because you guys aren't going to Ocala. Like, the class that's ahead of you is the last class. So what did they tell you, as far as the school informing you, like, what are you going to be doing instead of going down to Ocala? So that's the news that I just heard. So I wanted to relay that to you guys so that you guys are informed. So the next thing I want to talk about is that we're now juniors. So the senior class is now leaving to go down to Ocala. And we have graduated, but been promoted from sophomores now to juniors. So next week we start our first week of our junior module, and we'll be diving all week next week. Not too sure about what we're going to be doing on dive station, but I'll let you guys know when I know next week. So the next thing I want to talk about is our lesson plan for today. So we talked about inland diving, we talked about ship's husbandry, we talked about blueprints, contaminated diving, and diving hazards and legislation. So my notes for today are one of the first things that we went over was that we're going to get 2 cards, so 2 different commercial diving certifications. The one is ADC, so that you only have a requirement of 200 minutes of bottom time. And just for some kind of reference, I already have, I just became a junior and I have 589 minutes of bottom time so far. And the ADC card, you only need 200 minutes of bottom time. So the next card is a higher certification because you need 3,000 minutes of bottom time for your DCBC card. So your DCBC, that's the diving, what was it? Something Board of Canada. Shoot, I just knew it. I don't know why I'm blanking on it right now, but you can definitely look it up. DCBC, diving something certification Board of Canada, I think. And you also have to dive on a four-person team, which means you have to have a supervisor, like a lead tender, a tender, and then obviously the diver. So that's the requirements of your DCBC. Obviously 3,000 is a lot more than the 200 required for 200 minutes of bottom time for the ADC. So I just want to let you guys know that that's the certifications that we're gonna get. And then some more notes I have are like the hat. We went over that they have a dial breath in the front, and it's kind of like regular scuba, where you have like a little dial on the front of your regulator, which you dial in. As you go deeper, you want the pressure increases, so you want a little bit more air flow being sent to your lungs, so you would increase this little dial. The commercial diving hats, they have the same thing, and what we learned was it's down to open it up. So you would go like this, and by swiping your hand down, obviously you might have some gloves on or something like that, but swiping your hand down would turn the valve more open. So as you go deeper, you would want more back pressure against the water pressure. So you would, start, going down, like as you go deeper, open up that valve more by, going down like that. It looks really weird, but that's exactly how it looks. And then obviously when you're coming up, there's going to be less pressure. So air is just going to be kind of like flowing. So to kind of decrease the air pressure, you can dial, it's called the dial breath valve, and you can go up instead, like this motion, and that'll turn that little valve closed. Some more stuff. We went over safety and JSA and dive charts, Delta P. I could go over all this stuff, but honestly, if you're thinking about going to dive school, they're going to cover all this stuff and you're going to learn all about it. I just wanted to go over that, kind of the stuff that we talked about. Anything that had to do with inland diving, we talked about. And then we were given a sheet that basically had an outline of a ship. And then we went over the various parts of the ship, like the stern and bow and keel and the screw and the shaft and the bridge, and just anything that, any type of general part of a ship we went over. And then we also talked about contaminated diving, where you're diving in anything that's contaminated, like radiation or chemicals or biological hazards. You're gonna need to be decontaminated afterwards. So it's kind of funny, they pulled up a picture of a commercial diver standing in like a little kiddie pool, and it looks kind of weird, and it's a funny visual to imagine, but at the same time, that's kind of what they do. It's reality, because they scrub you, like in the movies where somebody's contaminated, and then they there's like guys in like radiation suits, and they're like scrubbing you like this, like with the kind of like in Monsters Inc. from that one scene like 10 years ago. But anyways, that's like the reality. Like after you dive in something that is very toxic or contaminated, stand in that little kiddie pool and they'll like scrub you down and decontaminate you. And then those guys that decontaminated you, now it's their turn. They have to be decontaminated. So it's kind of like an Inception, decontaminating the decontaminator, decontaminating them. Anyway, so that's all I have for you guys. thank you guys so much for watching. Oh yeah, I just wanted to cover real quick that I'm not going to be covering the menu anymore, like what we're going to be having for breakfast and lunch in every video like I normally do. You can let me know how you guys feel about that, but breakfast repeats every week. So if you haven't noticed, Monday is just, you know, bacon and eggs. Tuesday I think is eggs and ham, and then Wednesday is like eggs and corned beef hash, something like that, or that might be Thursday. And then Friday is always like a big kind of like bacon, eggs, hash browns, and biscuits and gravy. And then the lunches, they repeat every month. So every month they repeat. So next week we're gonna start back over from square one, and I think the first meal is like baked chicken. So yeah, I don't want to like waste your guys' time if I'm saying the exact same meals I've said before. You guys already know. If you've been watching, you already know like what we've been eating in here and everything like that. So yeah, I just wanted to discontinue that so I can jump straight into the day and what we're doing instead of like, you know, keep talking about food. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have been watching the whole series, thank you. I really appreciate it. Definitely stay tuned for next week when we become juniors. So yeah, stay tuned. So subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and leave any comments or questions for me down below. And I hope you guys have a great one. I will see you in the next video. Have a great one. Peace.